Welcome to Gyandhara People Teacher Online Study Point, and today we are going to study objectives in teaching learning process. First of all, we all have to know what is an objective. So, uh, uh, Bobbitt, this person has used firstly the term objective in technical form in the field of education. So when a teacher teaches a topic, he consider what kinds of changes are expected in the students by it. That is what new things student can learn from it, and these things or changes are called the educational objectives. So an objective is a point or end in the view of something towards action is directed. So it is a point or end in view of something towards the action is directed. So suppose we have suppose we are teaching sun. So what abilities after learning that student will get, what change in their behavior will be there after understanding the sun, that things are written in theoretical form, which we say is objective. There are two kinds of objectives which are chiefly divided. First is educational objective. So these implies the changes we try to produce in the child. Second, they are teaching objectives. They help in realizing educational objectives. So they are a part of educational objectives. They are very narrow, specific, and clear, and they are actually the medium of educational objectives. And there are many more classifications like general objective and specific objectives, and ultimate objectives, immediate objectives. So there are different kinds of classification is there. And why we have to identify an objective, why objective is necessary. For this, I would like to tell you that it actually help to guide a teacher clearly, and it makes the measurement of performance and activities possible, because we can check out before teaching in the class, and then after, when we take the feedback, or we do any kind of evaluation, the objectives we have decided earlier, they can be compared, and we can make changes according to the objectives that we have decided before the teaching. And if we don't find that the certain behavioral changes are there in the students, we can change our teaching strategies and can accomplish the objectives. Now, some people they get confused between objectives and aims of teaching. So there are major difference, in fact, I will say, between aims and objectives. So let's see. First is aims or you can also say goals. And here we will compare objectives. So the goals, they are overall, they determine the nation. So overall, what a nation wants, what a society wants, we determine that in goals. And educational terms decided by the teacher. So objectives are decided by the teachers in educational terms, that what change the teacher wants to produce in the students. And goals are, they are very large perspective, and they actually wants that what kind of citizen they want in their nation. So you can say that objectives, they are the chain process of the goals. They will, when all these objectives will fulfill, they will represent, or they will fulfill one goal. So it is a part of goals objectives. Second, the aims or goals are always society based, but society wants we make our aims and goals in education like that. Like every different country have different aims of their nation, so they have different educational objectives in their schools, and curriculums are different. And the objectives in teaching, they are psychological. They are based on psychology. Third, I told you earlier also, it is very broad. Scope is very broad. This in here scope is narrow, limited only to the schools. Fourth, they are ideals, so difficult to realize or achieve. Where objectives, they can be realized completely. Okay, now the fifth one is they are changeable. As per as the need of the nation, we can change our aims and goals for the citizens. And objectives are always, they are definite by nature, because we always make the objectives before teaching any kind of topic in the classroom, so they are definite by nature. And goals and aim, they don't provide clear instructions about teaching strategies. They have clear instructions, because we know what objectives, or what strategies, what methods we can use for achieving such objectives. So they have they give clear instructions about teaching strategies, but aims and goals, they don't provide anything certain about teaching strategies. So these are the differences between goals, aims, and objectives. Bloom's classification of objectives. So the basically the objectives are classified according to Bloom's taxonomy into three parts. Any objectives we write, they must be fulfilling, or should fulfill three main things: the cognitive domain, the affective domain, and the psychomotor domain. So if we write any objective, we have to take these three domains in those objectives. So if we, as we have known that cognitive domain constitutes of knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. In effective domain, we should put the terms like receiving, responding, valuing, organization, conceptualization, characterization. In psychomotor domain, it is the application part of anything we learn: impulsion, control, manipulation, naturalization, or you can say generalization, habit formation. So these terms can be used when we write any kind of teaching objectives. If we have to, you can say, add all the three domains of psychology: cognitive, affective, and psychomotor domains. So we will say, suppose we have to write anything of in objectives according to cognitive domain. So there will be knowledge of objects, they will translate, they will generalize, they will diagnose, they will apply. So these kinds of work: defines, state, analyze, selects, demonstrates, separates, relates, these terms will be used. When effective domain will be there: describes, answers, accepts, identifies, arranges, changes, organize, commands. These kinds of action verb will be used. And when we will use the psychomotor domain, then terms will be like constructs, formats, adds, creates, changes, repairs, establishes, etc. These terms will be used. Now, characteristics of behavioral objective. There are many characteristics. First, it should be student oriented. All the objectives should be student oriented. Second, it should be stressed on getting knowledge, not only rote memorization. Should be stressed on application part. Third, one thought, or say one topic, one objective should be there. Should change, you can say it should be changeable as per need. So we should be flexible in writing the teaching objectives, and as I told you earlier, it should be relevant, valid, and reliable for the content. So these are the important characteristics of behavioral objectives. Different methods of writing behavioral objectives. So there are four chief methods of writing behavioral objective. First is Robert Mager method. The second is Grund Learn method. The third is Miller method. And fourth is RCM method. So I am not giving you the whole about the methods, but you can write in very precise form, as I am able to, if I am able to convey my thoughts to you easily. You are able to write a good answer with these knowledge I'm giving you in the video. So in the I'm giving you a quickest and shortest form of the different methods of writing behavioral objectives. So first, the Robert Mager method. As the name say, the Robert Mager laid down a method of writing objectives in cognitive and affective domain, which is called the Robert Mager method after his name. And in this method, eh, he took the Bloom's taxonomy for the writing objectives and has given action verbs for each aspect of the objective. So a list of action verbs are there uh, for this method: measure, present, select, or demonstrate, receive, perceive. So these action words will be there if you write the objectives in behavioral terms by Robert Becker methods. He used the action verbs, all the action verbs as common as the Bloom's taxonomy. And he divided the contents into elements by tasking teaching objectives into different behavioral need of the students. And the method lays more stress on SR, like stimulus and response way. It does not apply to process of all the human learning. It is more useful for cognitive and affective objectives only, but it did not relied on psychomotor domain. That is the limitation of the method. Then the second method is given by N.E. Groneland, and the method is more considered more popular than the Robert Mager method, because he used first time the term general and specific objectives. You must be writing these general and specific objectives in your lesson plan right now, because it is mandatory in the lesson plans now. So it was given by an E. Groenland. Those are general method is like student will learn the Hooke's law. This is the general objective of the topic, but specific behavior, you will write that student will able to verify Hooke's law in practice. To will be able to calculate constant of elasticity. Student will be able to explain Hooke's law in their own words. These are the specific part of the objectives. So this is grown learn method. Now in third, it is Miller method, and somehow the name of the scientist is Robert Miller method. This method is actually, you can say, completion of the Robert Mager method, and he used the psychomotor domain of, you can or say psychomotor objectives in his the theory, the method he given. And he said, according to the Miller, it is essential to use the psychomotor terms or psychomotor objectives in their teaching objectives also. So he will learn the thing. He said that indication, activation, and feedback, these things should be included while writing the objective. So if we put these things in Robert Mager method, it will be complete Robert Miller method now. And the final, which we precisely, or you say mainly, use in our India is RCM method, which is given by Dr. Dave of Regional College of Education, RCM Mysore. And it is a new Indian method, and this method basically uh, divide the objectives into four parts, that is knowledge, understanding, application, all the three domains, that is cognitive, affective and psychomotor, and final part is creativity. That is very important, that whatever the student learn, whether he is able to analyze, synthesize or evaluate that fact and create something different of all the theoretical things he have learned in the classroom. We use this kind of method generally for writing behavioral objectives in India, and it is you can say there is limitations of the RCM method also, because it is not able to produce the mental the Thurston speaks about 6 or 7 mental abilities or 120 mental abilities. It is not able to produce any psychological scientific basis of all the mental process or abilities, and it is that is why the method has its limitation, but it is very very, you can say, important, because it is quite simple, easy and useful. And the chief stress of the method in RCM is on process and not on the product, and because this is of Indian origin, it is very useful in Indian conditions. And we basically in our classroom right now in pupil teacher training also we use this method frequently. So these are the four methods of writing the behavioral objectives. Now limitations of the method: all the methods uh, are not, you can say, reliable, valid. All, you can write like this: all methods are not reliable, valid for all the topics. Second, all mental abilities, like when I have to taught you the intelligence part, there are 120 mental abilities given by Guilford speaks of. So are not able to cope up with the objective terminology, and all three domains are sometimes do not cover, here you can get don't cover all the topics. Majorly cognitive domain is fulfilled by the most of the writing objectives, and you can say it is difficult task to express each part of the content as a mental process. So these are limitations of different methods of writing behavioral objectives, but we have to write or we have to specify our objective before teaching any topic in the classroom. And this is an important question you get in your exam. That's why I have created the video for you. And please feel free to ask me questions related to any video, any topic of the educational technology. Thanks for watching Gandhara. Please like, share and subscribe.